3, 2, 1, opener.
我諗我哋要搞掂呢個死鬼佬教授啊！
聽日會係佢嘅助手出殯，亦都會係呢個鬼佬 professor 嘅死期。
等佢個老豆走咗之後，你哋去逮兩個死鬼佬啊
Okay.
Hello and welcome to the worst movie ever made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci and Bob Hassick. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing Out for a Kill?
I am mad because, for reasons I just spoke to you guys off air before we hit record, our Plan 9 from Outer Space episode has no video counterpart because my computer tried updating the, in middle of an episode, thereby ruining our screen capture.
Plus you be mad also because someone farted on your neck.
Yes, my daughter. We do story time now, and she likes sitting on my shoulders while my son sits in my lap, and she just cuts him loose whenever she feels.
Yeah.
She's a freewheeling free spirit and eats a lot of fiber apparently. So I thought my rage would be quelled by having a nice little jaunt with Steven Seagal as depicted in Out for a Kill. And I'm just even more mad. So I'm going to pass this over to Bob for a description, for an alliteration, for some expository dialogue right after this bumper.
Yeah. Those alliterations are sick. Let's hear Bob explain the flick.
Right.
You see, we missed last week's video of Chris jamming out to his own tune.
Yeah. And me using my vape as a fog machine. Yeah.
Yes. All right. I'm particularly proud of this one.
Okay.
Nice.
Professor Pudgy parts with his partner prior to pouncing pill pushers.
Nice.
I mean, you had me at Professor Pudgy.
I laughed to myself for a good solid minute after writing that.
Professor Pudgy. All right. So why don't you walk us through how this blubber chuck saves the day, Bob?
Yeah. Please.
So suspending some serious disbelief to see that Steven Seagal is an archaeology professor at Yale.
Yeah.
And
yes, he is.
He finds out that drug smugglers are using his archaeological dig findings to smuggle drugs. And somehow he takes the fall. And then he exacts revenge by killing anybody remotely following him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this story makes very little sense. There are maybe 6 movies that make less sense than this one in all of the 146 that we've done over 97 episodes or seasons.
Yeah.
So, couldn't agree more. Fucking terrible plot. Can't wait to get into it. For now, why don't we talk about what the YouTube audience thought of this movie?
Sure. And to preface this, the comments were disabled on the official trailer, so I had to. I'm sourcing these comments from the final showdown.
Woo! You know what? My head hurts, my dick hurts,
and my brain hurts after reading all these YouTube comments. Number 1. This is one of the most genuinely insane movie deaths I have ever seen. Bravo, Seagal. This is the only legitimate praise you'll get from me. Next one. That is so ridiculous. Throwing a katana and decapitating the dude from a second-story window. Oh my god, the absurdity. This is one of my favorite films to watch on Bad Movie Night. Next comment. In his 2003 movies, Steven Seagal was the best one between everyone. I don't even know.
Okay.
I
think that was actual praise.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's his competition though? Like no one we've ever heard of?
Yes. It's a Legius Nevets, which is just Steven Seagal wearing a fake mustache. He is pissed because he couldn't find Richie. With that cutting staccato, they could have made me an Aikido killer on screen. He's referring to the shot cutting in the fight sequences.
Yeah,
Right.
And then, still does not beat the Omen glass slice of head. Haha.
Okay. I don't get that one.
I guess I haven't seen the Omen, but I guess someone gets their head sliced open with a piece of glass, and they were comparing
Yes,
the katana.
sort of. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of a, yeah, I guess.
So
I
there's
felt
that.
like I had seen The Omen, but I feel like it's been like 18 years or something.
Like,
So
that's one of those movies that's been reimagined like 100 times. So I might be confusing plots.
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
All right, test number 1, the worst of its kind.
Hey, what's going on?
We let science and data determine what's the worst movie. Otherwise,
You're gonna jump to your conclusion.
I want to just get this out of the way now. I want to shout out John Miskowski. Hey, John, I know you're listening. Thank you for listening.
John.
Under Siege with Busey and Tommy Lee Jones in 80.
And
Okay.
Steven Seagal, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't say that, though,
Okay.
on purpose.
All right. Gotcha. My bad.
Falling Down with Michael Douglas at 75.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Last
movie.
Boy Scout, Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis. Not a good movie, 46.
Bad movie.
Okay.
Ricochet with Denzel and John Lithgow. A 74? I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Good
Any
movie.
good? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll check it out.
It is.
And then Out for Justice with Steven Seagal and William Forsythe, who we had on with that biker movie. What was it? What was that biker movie? The crazy one with Brian Bosworth. Stone Cold. It was called Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Stone Cold, yeah.
Yeah, with William Forsythe on then, and we also had him on for Raising Arizona. Arizona, a good movie. So
right.
we've had Forsythe on both ends, but here he is on Out for Justice, which got a 23, so I guess a bad movie again. Average of 59.6. What did Out for a Kill get?
People love this shit. It's like 45.
So I know it went straight to video. So I'm gonna guess it went pretty low on the audience score, around 20.
How about Critic?
0.
If you average those, you get a 10, which is pretty close to its actual score on Rotten Tomatoes, which was a 13. So I guess Bob wins this round. A negative 46.6 and worst of its kind.
Okay. Fair.
Not surprising.
Okay.
Maybe it deserves a higher or like worse score than that. Let's throw it to test number 2. Ain't that a pitch?
To explain the movie, we're going to give you a pitch. To get yourself a girl, say.
Okay, show me your tits. Show me your tits.
All right. Who's going first?
I could.
You guys want to do the catch-all order? Chris, Bob, Rob?
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't gone
Right.
first in a while.
Right.
Steven Seagal is a Chinese artifact archaeologist and apparently a ghost. So call a cryptozoologist. We're out for a thrill. He's out for justice. Or a kill. In On Deadly Ground, he's a fucking petroleum geologist.
He was. Okay. All right. Bob, go ahead.
All right. There once was a time Seagal had lung trouble. Oxygen balloons were required to avoid struggle. Fight scenes so weak, using the Seagal technique. It was too obvious when it was the stunt double.
Yes. That's
I
good.
ran into.
I
ran into a
didn't
lot
go
of
with
stuff
the
like
I didn't go with the oxygen balloons because I thought Rob would go with it on his pitch. So we'll see if I'm right.
No. I just make fun of his weight.
Damn
it. There once was a man named Robert Burns with a mysterious past that's revealed to have occurred. The backstory makes him badass, but he's really just a fat ass who funded this project. It's absurd.
It was like a team.
I'm going. Oh yeah,
Team?
Rob.
I'm okay. Yeah, let's do a team 5 because fuck this movie.
I'm just saying team win because I couldn't decide between you two.
Okay, I like a team win because otherwise I don't win. So
Okay.
I'll take it.
Team 5.
Team
Let's just-
win,
let's just
5
fuck this movie.
star. You know I love a good win, even if I have to share it with you assholes. Let's throw it to test number 3, the most offensive.
Woo.
Fucking slut! You touch my makeup again, I'll fucking kill you!
Come back when you fuck some of this baby fat off. See ya.
I have a problem with pussy.
If they take it out, come all over you, call a bouncer. Unless he gives you a big tip.
The most offensive. All right.
Okay, number 5, fuzzy Tit-Scope.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by that I mean, of course, there were like 12 boobs in this movie, and I couldn't really get a look at any of them.
Yeah.
Offended.
There are
What's
ghosts
this about?
just like Robert Burns' mysterious past.
Yeah. Number 4, causing accidents by ambling through ancient artifacts.
Yeah.
I love when this dude, he's like a drug smuggler who needs to smuggle drugs through ancient artifacts, decides to walk through them and smash them with his feet.
Doesn't he step on
for literally no reason?
He just walked across a commemorative plate.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He definitely did. 3, and this is a theme, if you're a listener, a longtime listener, you will know this is something we come back to, but wanton destruction of small business. And bonus, monks versus mullet, messing up memorial.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean we had a lot of small business destruction in this one, but I thought that the monks that attack Seagal out of nowhere, was really funny, and they destroy her memorial, and he's got a mullet, so I had to play with that theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna step on my catch-all. There was no repercussions for that. Like he just like killed people at a memorial and walked away.
Yeah. Yes.
Thought that was absolutely hysterical.
They probably star wiped their way past it with some reverb, and we just didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Star wipe.
Yeah, I mean it really was PowerPoint level. Some of those transitions.
Yeah.
All right, let's play the first clip of the day.
Okay.
And this may not seem super offensive from the jump, but let me explain why if you don't get why. Maybe I'll just ask why. With number 2, this is completely cut off.
I guess I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's what they all say.
Do they? How about you?
Truth is, I was crossing the Kazakhstan border, trafficking some weed. Some rag-headed motherfucker started.
There's not gonna be a lot of big legal procedures. As far as I can tell, American Embassy's talking to the DEA, and I think they're gonna see immediately there's a big misunderstanding.
I will get you on, okay? I will get you out of here.
Fucking unbelievable.
I love you. I love you.
I know how hard.
That just that sampled audio though, that's a great like intro for like a house song. Like you're talking about the raghead thing that they tried glossing over, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but the guy who's like, so Seagal's like, well, how did you land in prison? And then the guy starts talking, and then he stops listening and starts remembering, and we just like follow him. And I've never really seen that in a movie before, where they like cut off a character that they like allow to speak so that Steven Seagal could like have a memory or something. It was really fucking weird.
It's a callback for in Hard to Kill, when like you think he's like watching the newsreel of the guy saying all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
When he says like I'm gonna take you to the blood bank, and zooms out, and he's sitting in an empty room with the TV off.
Yeah. Seagal's thought process is what's meant to be most important to us. Not the story of how this guy is innocent and he was like trapped, like, drug smuggling ring, much like Seagal or whatever. Whatever they were starting to say before they completely cut him off. All right, number 1 is pretty cut and dry. I mean, we can't argue with wholesale slaughter of strippers and civilians in strip club, again, likely leveling a local business.
Yes.
Of strippers and civilians.
Wholesale slaughter of strippers and civilians in strip club, again, likely leveling local business. Yeah, right in the beginning, it's 8 dudes come in and unload their entire clip on everyone in the strip club, and it destroys everything in there, every person in there, and we're not really even sure why it happened. They never really explain it. It's super fucking stupid. No. I hate this fucking movie. Rob, why don't we throw it to your ad read?
Sure thing.
I've had dog food.
You have?
Mm-hmm. A long time ago. Doggy chow. I used to love doggy chow.
I used to love doggy chow too.
Rob's ad read.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by leftover bean and rice bowl with dinosaur nuggets because you forgot to eat until midnight. The red phone in your office rings, and it's a representative from Hot Dogs at 3 a.m. Your Glizzy sponsorship has been suspended because the increasingly grim aspects of your personal life and how they've damaged your reputation. Hot Dogs at 3 a.m. are meant to be a food of celebration, not a coping mechanism. You tried methadone to quell the shakes, and your therapist blocked your phone number, but only before your dwindling support network said, hey, take a walk and eat some fiber. Broke, alone, cold, and depleted of pork byproducts, you raid the fridge. The homemade cantina bowl that's congealing in the back of your refrigerator glistens with condensation, and you decide now is as good a time as any to push your luck. You heat up your son's half-eaten dino nuggies in the air fryer that you for a second contemplated taking a bath with. Instead, you were surprised to find out that this was actually the treat you needed. Revived and ready to face another day, you reach into the crawl space and pull out your trusty revolver. Loading it with a single bullet, you now know what you have to do. Those fuckers at the hot dog plant are going to get what's coming to them. But first, those beans were definitely spoiled, so you'll have to wait a good 72 hours before exacting your revenge. To be continued?
Ooh. Well, thank you so much, leftover bean and rice bowl with chicken nuggets. For that.
Dino nuggets.
Oh, excuse me, dino nuggets, more specifically. Chicken, but shaped like dinosaurs.
They taste better, and it's because of the shape.
You think? Do you bite off the arms first?
No, but for some reason I get like a fried shrimp vibe from it, because I think it's because of the tail. So I'm convinced that the cheap fried shrimp and the cheap chicken nuggets you get at the store, it's all the same reconstituted, mechanically separated whatever, and it's all the same shit. So I get a shrimp vibe from the down nuggies, and the tails kind of seal the deal for me.
Have you ever seen Gangs of New York?
Yes.
You know the all sorts tank that they have, where everybody who's beer is a fifth full when they pass out or leave, they just dump it into the all sorts barrel.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can pay a dime or a nickel to get a glass from the all sorts.
Let's just get the backwash buzz.
That's what you're reminding me of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Hellcat Maggie trades in an ear to get a glass of all sorts.
Yeah, Prohibition.
But anyway, there's alcohol in it. So. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's throw it to test number 4, the worst dialogue.
This is some of the worst dialogue.
You have great
Gonna be
tits.
good.
I like nice tits.
I like having nice tits.
Yeah. Let's start weeding through the 27 clips that Chris sent me.
I'm so sorry. 20, we did one already.
Yeah. Number
5. This is Life of Wife.
You sleeping good at night? You should be. You know, I like your style. I really do. You set me up in China, put an innocent man behind bars. Then you let me go because you think I'm gonna lead you to the bad guys. But my favorite is through your brilliant detective work, you cost me the life of my wife.
I had no idea.
Do you expect me to believe that? Believe this. I'll do your work for you. Better than you ever could. Stay out of my life. Stay out of my way.
Oh my
Game
god.
is good.
He's so fucking good.
He's so good. Dude. Fucking cool.
How could one man walk away from certain death so many times?
If you were partially responsible for the death of my wife, that is not how the conversation would go. I mean, period. But I also wouldn't say you're partially responsible costing me the life of my wife.
Can I say something?
It's just a strange way to phrase it.
Can I say something as a quasi-professional writer here? Passive voice is very impersonal. Like, you know, like instead of Rob kicked the ball, like the ball was kicked by Rob, it removes like the personality from the exchange. So he's dehumanizing his wife by saying the life of my wife. It would make more sense just to say my wife's life or you killed my wife.
Exactly. Yeah. It sounds so bad. It sounds like he never had a wife to begin with, you know?
Yeah.
Well said. All right, number 4. This is Pope.
Simple. I mean, he's a professor. What if he's innocent?
If he's innocent, the Pope wears panties.
谢谢.
Gets better.
Once a friend for life.
Take care, my man.
You ain't going down a rat hole.
Don't forget about me.
Love and respect.
So walk in peace, my man.
Yeah, man. I'll see you soon.
Don't forget about me. And then he immediately does.
Yes.
He's never brought up again,
he
right?
Saves him.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
He saves him. Yeah, he does.
Sort of.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we don't know that he actually saves him.
We
but
don't.
you know, the guys like the chances of that are as likely as the Pope wearing panties. You know what?
Yeah.
The chances of the Pope wearing panties not that bad.
No.
Yeah.
Given the proclivities of the male structure in the Catholic Church, it is not that unusual, I think.
Yeah.
For the Pope
Not
panties.
not that usual.
Yeah.
Lacy ones. Yeah.
So that struck me as funny. But then also, I have to say it, anytime that Steven Seagal and a member of a different community, a different culture are...
That's a nice way of putting it.
I'm saying of any creed.
Yeah.
He always finds a way to morph his language so that they think he's cool, which really is just super cringy and awkward and kind of offensive.
I was honestly expecting him to try doing one of those like elaborate handshakes, and the other guy just staring at him like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
He's doing like the Sammy Sosa after a home run.
Okay.
All right, let's start to number 3. Number 3. This is good.
Wilo Professor is becoming a problem. No longer have we among us Mr. Wu of New York and Mr. Ping of Los Angeles.
Yes, the Guaylo is causing trouble in Chinatown.
Have we found out more about this Guaylo?
He's not a cop. He's not a soldier. He's not a government agent. He's like one of us.
What do you mean?
We found out that this Guaylo professor was once one of the greatest thieves in Shanghai, New York, and Paris. He specialized in valuable paintings and priceless Chinese artifacts. He was known as the Guai, or the Ghost. Some thought he had died, but he had disappeared. In 1985, he returned to the United States and was arrested. He served 7 years in a federal prison. Using his expertise in Chinese artifacts, he used his prison stay to earn himself a doctorate in Chinese archaeology. And when he got out, he created a new identity and became a professor.
So in other words, he's the patron saint of the impossible.
Yeah.
You drop him off at the Antarctic with no money and a bikini, he's going to show up poolside with a snow coat and
a fistful of pesos and $1 million smile.
Yes. Oh my God! Exactly. That's the thing. Like, first of all, I didn't look up what Quilo means, but they keep calling him a Quilo or the Quilo or whatever, and I don't know what it means.
I didn't look that up either.
Yeah. I didn't get this movie any
But
research.
they do call him that like 6 times. Yeah, but this movie sucked too bad to care.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is the same thing. Like, damn, he's good again. You know, it's like, all right, here's the part where they're gonna talk about how badass I am. Only this time I'm not going to be a former Marine who has 2 Purple Hearts. This time I'm going to be an archaeologist who has a degree from, I don't know, Yale or something like that. Maybe Harvard. I don't know. Something cool. And I'm going to also be the ghost because I used to kill people to obtain those artifacts before I went straight. You know, like something like that's what Steven Seagal was saying in his trailer one day when he was like smoking some weed and thinking he came up with a really good plot for a movie.
Before writing that song.
And here we are.
We're
We're watching it now.
Before writing that song where he sings Me Like Punani on his solo album.
I still can't fucking believe that thing exists. He is the most ridiculous human that exists.
He's a combination. He's Eric Cartman combined with Donald Trump.
Oh my God, so. He is.
Yeah.
He is. That's great. All right, number 2. This is Vengeance.
Your daughter, my wife, both dead. I came here to make you a promise. Within 1 week, I'll avenge their deaths before the funeral of my wife.
Of my wife.
I'm going
to my wife's funeral.
Chola? I think you know how hard I've tried to put my past behind me. Well, it hasn't worked very well. They say, kill 1 to warn 100. I might have to kill 100 to warn 1. They say when one sets out on revenge to first dig 2 graves. And I know you know that meaning. But I promise you one thing. The souls of our enemies will be ashes and dust and gone in the sky before the funeral of our loved ones. That's a promise.
I give you my blessing to avenge those who killed our loved ones. The key is in the symbols tattooed on their arms.
So kill 1 to 100? What?
No, he says normally, traditionally, you kill 1 person to warn 100. Like, you make an example of that person, and like they all saw what you did.
You warn.
Yeah, but he's saying he needs to kill 100 to warn 1, which just because he's badass. He's just gonna fucking
yeah. Yeah. And then he immediately makes he says they say you kill 1 to warn 100, but in this case, I need to kill 100 to warn 1. Yeah. And they say when you follow the path of vengeance, you dig 2 graves or whatever. Like,
I would love
follows up his analogy with another analogy in this vaguely Chinese proverb.
Yeah, I would love to see like the NYU film school graduate, like who's like on the boom mic, dude, just like trying not to laugh while filming that scene on the sizzle reel.
My God, unbelievable! But nothing compares. Nothing compares to number 1.
You know what? Fuck it.
This is Life of Wife 2.
A crane flies above a river. Peaceful surface hides danger below. I believe this is the riddle that I solved by killing 10 of your men.
Very good.
Wasn't this the message I retrieved from the tattoos on the bodies of your men?
You are truly a scholar of Chinese history and philosophy to have figured this out.
A river will be filled with red. Is that also you?
Very, very good.
It seems to me that the 10 people that probably sat at this very table all gave their life for you. If I had one man that would give his life for me, I'd be very lucky. And you wasted 10 of them. You deliberately put 10 men in the mouth of the tiger, knowing that I would cut them down, so that you'd have no one to share in your fortune. You're a despicable man, and you cost me the life of my wife.
My wife?
So tell me.
The life of my wife?
Life of my wife.
You cost me the life of my wife. You put 10 men in the mouth of the tiger, knowing I would cut them down. Tell me about the crane and it flies through the blood red river and blah 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 Chinese sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking unbelievable. Hey, just wait. We've got more coming in the worst acting. It's also really terrible dialogue. So right now we're going to throw it over to Bob so he can tell us what test number 5, the worst production, looks like.
You got something wrong with your nipples? They're not sticking up. Stick them up.
What?
Don't blame the bad production on her nipples.
I'm erect. Why aren't you erect?
All right.
Okay, so this is mostly one thing, but I added something else. I wrote it was a non-cohesive script, but I also said with too many characters.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at the beginning of the production, they took like the script apart, like in pages, and they tossed it up in the air, and however they landed, that's how they filmed the movie.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. And and on top of that, there were too many characters. Too many to keep track of. Too much dialogue to bother putting in any kind of order. Who was the narrator? Who was the protagonist? Who was the antagonist?
Yeah, right.
I really couldn't figure it out. It just didn't make any sense.
It was terribly confusing.
Yeah.
Terribly.
You know what they shouldn't have done? They should have made the second. You know what I thought is that the two detectives, I thought the guy was going to end up being a bad guy that like turned on Seagal.
I was getting that vibe too. Like he's getting a cut and he was like leading him to certain death.
And that would have been fine had they given him that, but they don't. They just make him like a victim.
Yeah.
He was awful.
Basically.
He was absolutely awful.
He was terrible. Yeah. He was terrible. Does the Pope wear panties?
He
also
should be the entire worst acting.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, and it's a we'll see. But I'm looking now. I don't even know if he's in it. But yeah, there's a rundown that I'm going to give you. Here's a little foreshadowing for you in the catch-all, which is going to be really fun. There's going to be a clip in the catch-all, but after the clip, I'm going to give you a little rundown of all the badass characters in this, Yakuza gang that we're supposed to be scared of or whatever. And yeah, it just muddies the waters too much. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
As for now, why don't we throw it to test number 6, the worst acting?
I'd have to piss on you to give you a clue.
It's the worst acting.
Yeah.
Number
1, Daddy.
This one's quick, so don't miss it. This is Jade.
These artifacts are just amazing.
Ancient Chinese emperors used to store the ashes and spirits of their loved ones in these. They used to be used in Jinshao in the Jinshan processions of the 3rd Dynasty. They're all hand-carved from jade.
Yes.
I didn't believe a word of that. He doesn't know that.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
True, but he didn't sell me on it.
And he only does it to make him sound knowledgeable because he could have been like, yes, these are interesting. Next scene. It doesn't move
it just
the story.
sounded
it doesn't
offensive,
drive the story.
honestly.
It doesn't offer anything to the movie that adds any more depth. It's just there.
No.
Most of the dialogue doesn't, so let's be fair.
Shooting fish in a barrel.
No, I agree. I agree. All right, number
2.
This is Condolences.
Condolences, Sifu.
A mind is a mirror, a bright light shining. Be sure to clean it every day. Allow no dust to cling.
There is no mirror. There is no dust. There is no darkness. Only the mind is light. I think you know what I have to do. Then
I will wait by the open grave for your return.
Oh, wait for your return.
What a strange place.
Get him
to
an
live.
oxygen balloon.
I will wait by the open grave.
Yes.
He's just got he's got it filled in with like coal that's lit with like a grate over top, and he's just like grilling over the open grave. All right, number
3. Oh god. This is Humble.
This is Humble.
I think you're really going to enjoy this movie. Right? It has a very important
I do think that's an investment. It shows artistic expression.
Sir, I work for an international business conglomerate. We believe you might have an interest in interfering in our business. Our paths have crossed before.
Have they?
If you're wondering how and why certain unpleasant things have happened to you in the past. So, I'm here to make you an offer. Leave us alone, and we'll leave you alone.
Consider it done. I'll never think of you guys again. Lead a humble, quiet life, and I'll be on my way.
Good. Because if you don't, we will kill your dog, we will kill you, and then we will kill your wife.
This all happened presumably after he took a shit.
Right.
Yes. No one threatens the life of my dog or the life of my wife.
Life of my wife.
All right, here's another one. Sorry, Rob. This is number
4. Yarg.
This is Sacred.
Now, you asked me to leave you alone? Would have been my pleasure. But you made one very big mistake. You touched the most sacred thing in my life. You killed my wife. Now, you forced me to dig 2 graves.
No mistake. Just some unfinished business. I'm gonna send you to your wife, motherfucker.
I had to go a little longer on that one just for reasons.
Love it. Love it.
Fist to fist.
Yeah.
It's amazing that everyone is ultimately responsible for his wife's death.
Yeah.
Everyone partially responsible is completely responsible for his wife's death.
Yeah. Except for him.
The poor police officer just didn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If he hadn't lived his mysterious life that made him so awesome, he wouldn't be a target. He takes no responsibility for anything except for being awesome.
That's so true, dude.
According
That's
to himself.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you're a ghost out in the open and you marry like a regular person, you need to expect that regular person in danger. So
yeah,
that's a good point, Rob. All right, let's throw it to fact or no fact.
Sure thing.
Oh.
Can you spell MGM backwards? I bet you can't.
MGM.
I'm impressed.
That's a fact. Now here's some more.
All right.
Out for a kill. I just called kill for an out because I would kill to be out of this movie.
Yeah.
All right. So as Rob said, he didn't do any digging in this movie, but good luck if you tried.
Me neither.
No.
Because it was a direct-to-video release, and there wasn't much to talk about. So I had to find an interview with the director from like 15 years ago that I found 4 things, and one thing I made up. So you got to find out which one of these things was not in that interview. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
First one. A stuntman actor was awarded $10,000 after he was injured in a fight scene with Seagal. Second one. they actually constructed the blocks of New York City's Chinatown inside an Olympic-size swimming pool in Bulgaria. Okay, third one. The director left his 35mm projection print of Out for a Kill with a projectionist in Bulgaria. And after the Bulgarian premiere, he thought he'd get it back, but he didn't. Okay. Fourth one. The editor for Out for a Kill also was the editor for Rocky V, Halloween Resurrection, and Under Siege. And last, Seagal's stunt doubles and stunt drivers had the same combined screen time that Seagal had in the movie.
Fuck. All right.
Those are your 5.
I mean, so for number 1, did Seagal sit on him? Is my question.
Undisclosed.
I'm kind of calling bullshit on that one, so I'm going to come back to that. They constructed... So, the number 2 and number 3, they both involve Bulgaria, which is like... If you were to make one of those up, you would have changed the location or not. That track with an interview, they're talking about the production in Bulgaria, and they're talking about the premiere in Bulgaria. Now, given the budget of this film, which I can't imagine is a lot, it would probably be cheaper to build a set inside of an Olympic-sized swimming pool using facade houses and building structures than it would be to actually film on location in like New York's Chinatown. Because it probably costs a lot of money to block off entire city blocks, so I believe that. Director left his projection print with the projectionist in Bulgaria, and he didn't get it back after he thought he would. Given how sloppy the rest of this is, I wouldn't put it past him. Like, just like hopping on a plane, going like, "Whoops, forgot my master copy." I believe that for some reason. His stunt doubles and drivers had combined screen time that Seagal had. I'm inclined to agree with that because I think he probably hasn't done his own stunts since like 1992. If I had to venture a guess.
Yeah, probably.
My gut is saying number 4. I have not seen Halloween Resurrection, but I heard mixed to positive reviews. I haven't seen Rocky V, but like the whole franchise is pretty widely celebrated, even the clunkers. Under Siege I have seen, and as flawed as a film as it was, it had decent editing. And that was 10 years prior to this? You don't unlearn how to edit. So I would assume if he were the same editor, he'd be better at his craft, not worse. Unless he had a stroke and it was like an equal opportunity type of thing. So I'm going to say number 4 is The Lie.
It's well obfuscated, so that would be tomfoolery there. I don't know. I'm gonna go. I guess I don't like the Olympic swimming pool, Chinatown deal. That doesn't feel right to me. It just doesn't seem big enough. But yeah. I don't know. Are Olympic swimming pools like bigger than I imagine them? But I also don't like that the projectionist from Bulgaria didn't give the director back his 3mm copy of the film. Yeah. I feel like if you're from Bulgaria and you're in the film industry and you have an American, like film being made in your country, you're not going to be like super sheisty and keep the footage because you want them to come back. So I'm between 2 and 3. But I guess I'm going to go 3, Bob. What do we got?
All right, so let's go with, in order, the stuntman was awarded $10,000 after being injured in a fight scene. No reports on if it was Seagal sitting on him or not.
Okay.
Olympic swimming pools are actually very big.
Because we don't know, we're going to go with that.
Yeah, we're going to go with that.
Yes.
Yeah, Olympic swimming pools are 50 meters long and like 25 meters wide. They're huge. And yes, they actually constructed Chinatown in there because it was easier. They were filming in Bulgaria. They thought they'll just do everything in Bulgaria. Speaking of Bulgaria, he did leave his 35 millimeter projection print out for a kill with the projectionist, which he never got back.
Okay.
That really happened.
It really happened.
And never. See, Chris, you were thinking malice, but I think it's just incompetence. Like, I don't think they were like, "No, you're not getting it back." I think he just forgot it, and then like months passed, and he's like, "Oh shit, I need that back." And like,
yeah, I wasn't thinking malice necessarily. I was thinking like if they were going to do it, it's because they had this one opportunity to like keep the original from what they thought was going to be like this huge score. But like it all sounded like a little too like naive even for like a Bulgarian projectionist, you know?
I think it's just the director was such a dumbass. He left it behind. He was like, "Oh, I forgot my print." And that's what happened.
Yeah, probably.
Speaking of dumb people running movies, the editor for Out for a Kill was also the editor for Rocky V: Halloween Resurrection and Under Siege, as well as like 75 other movies.
Did he just like get like his advance? He probably got his like per diem or his advance. He's like, I am not putting fucking fuck all effort into this.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he had to have like been
for real.
Yeah.
So I made up the stunt double one because it was so obvious when the stunt double was on camera. I thought it was hilarious. Although Seagal was definitely on film more than the stunt double.
All right.
For sure.
So
yeah, that didn't feel right.
Since it's a team lose and there's strength in numbers, that means it kind of is a win.
Yeah, true. We both lost. Which really means that like we can
it's a loser's win.
Just revolting.
Majority rule, baby.
Yeah, a loser's
the majority lost, which means you win.
Yes.
Hey, going in the outline, which means
I honestly I thought you would see right through this one. I was really struggling because I was up late last night, like looking through this stuff. I fell asleep and I had this like, you know how when you fall asleep typing and you have a bunch of backslashes in a row?
Yeah.
I woke up to that this morning. I'm like, oh shit.
See, I was inclined to believe you because I was on like Reddit on like the very cursory research I was doing for this to like write my own review for this. There were a lot of people saying like you could obviously tell like when he swaps out with a stunt double. So like that was in my head. And like yeah, and he clearly doesn't do his own stunts because he's a fat piece of shit. So yeah, good. You got us. Yeah. You got us. Bravo, Bob.
Right, and the combined time. Yeah. The combined time for all stunt drivers and all stunt men seemed like it could be, enough.
Yes, Seagal was in this way too much to be outmanned.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, you're right. But still, it is canon that we have a loser's win here. We're going to shoot it over to the catch-all. Gotcha, Bob.
Time for the catch-all, which is basically just boob jokes.
Take a look at these tits. What are these, watermelons? This is a stage, babe. It's not a patch. See ya.
And you still show them tits and ass.
All right.
All warfare is based on the art of deception. That is the first thing that we're fed from this movie. How does this quote apply to Out for a Kill?
We don't know.
Unreleased director's cut that explains it, maybe? He lost the reels for that one too, so we'll never know.
So before the titles, which I have a beef with, there was a almost immediate, non-stop slow-mo crime scene and reenactment footage at the same time.
Yeah,
which I think it went right to, we need time to fill this movie. Slow-mo.
Yep.
Because otherwise, it was stupid.
Yeah,
agreed. It's everywhere.
I really hate bringing anything related to politics into this, but he has the same affect and countenance and cadence as Donald Trump.
Hey, that's not politics. That's just personality.
Yeah,
personality.
Beat.
Leaving comments aside.
Like in the write-up, I'm putting Donald Trump deepfake because I don't know. Like, Will Sasso does a better Steven Seagal at this point in Steven Seagal's career than Steven Seagal does.
Yes, he does.
Agreed. He does. Incredibly unnecessary slow motion throughout. An outrageous number of bullets before reloads.
Yes.
Yes. So I was watching the credits more than once because I was looking at the Chinese lettering behind the credits.
Yeah.
And it was the same for every title.
Okay.
Like I think we were meant to believe it was a Chinese translation of the titles, but it was just the same 4 characters for every title.
Is it like, so it's kind of like when like the Japanese symbol and the Chinese symbol tattoos were like a big thing, but like no one cared actually what they translated to. So like a bunch of like roided out jocks had like potato written on their arm unknowingly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, like that.
I don't know if it was one of you guys that mentioned this or it was a YouTube comment, but he fights sitting down at one point.
He does.
He does.
Like he's just in a chair, just like going like this.
I will mention it, but maybe I'll skip it later. But yeah, he's literally sitting down.
Yeah. That's it.
That's super awesome. All right, let's throw it to a clip because I feel like we haven't clipped in a while. This is Bad Guy Rundown, and I've got something to say afterwards.
Okay.
As I look at the men seated around this table, I see the beginning of a new era. Silo from Paris. Thanks City from New York. Yin Kui from Sofia. Libo from Shanghai.
This was hard enough to watch the first time. Do we have to?
Yeah. We do.
Fang Li from Paris.
They have.
The 1993 hacker typing. I love it.
Mr. Chang from London. Like all great conglomerates around the world, the Chinese families are merging.
Okay, so here's what I want to do. This was like a Connor style Bad Guy Rundown, right? Which is why we titled it that. But I'm going to tell you what was typed if you're not in our YouTube audience. Tang Zili runs a mahjong gambling racket.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted to say about him. Yin Quinshi. His hobbies are auto racing and skydiving.
And walks on the beach.
Libo has a penchant for French restaurants.
Yeah. Dangerous.
Fang Li is known to hire unique assassins.
Yep.
Mr. Chang frequents strip clubs.
Yeah.
And finally, Silo. His front is laundromats all over Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think the one that struck me the funniest was Yin Quinshi's hobbies are auto racing and skydiving.
They're all like badass by proxy. They're not actually.
Yes, that one's normal though.
If I had better editing software, I was gonna my first idea for a trailer was to have 2 of those and then one of you guys, and with some fucked up shit underneath it, and then back and forth. And I'm like, this is way too much work. I'm not gonna do that. But that's
this movie,
that's really funny. Yeah, that is really funny. Maybe for like season 10 when we're or season 110 or whatever.
Or if it wins
like making money.
The worst of the season, maybe I can muscle that together.
Yeah, it'll be a joint effort.
But yeah, I'll go ahead. That was my catch-all.
Aside from the fact that I already said this during my summary that he's a Yale professor, his wife is like half his age.
Yeah,
and I think it's gross.
Have both of those separate. Go ahead, Rob.
Segueing from Bob with the Yale thing. When you establish a setting, like we're in China, we're in New Haven, Connecticut, you don't need to remind the audience and type it out on the screen every time it transitions from one of those two settings. It's obvious. It's in New Haven like 100 times. It's like we get it. They're in New Haven now. It's like like New Haven architecture is different than Chinese architecture.
Part of me was like, yeah, New Haven.
Yeah. The pizza.
I drive through New Haven every day on my commute.
Yeah.
So it made it like kind of.
Yeah, like I'm driving through where history was made in 2003 when Steven Seagal starred in the blockbuster sensation Out for a Kill.
The expert in artifacts of Chinese archaeology got his doctorate at Yale New Haven. Yeah,
it'd be funny if your car had text on the windshield that said New Haven, Connecticut as you drove through.
You're starstruck every day on the way to work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like they call the pilot Crash because he's never crashed a plane before, which is supposed to be like ironic. But how many pilots have crashed planes before? Hopefully, it's a low percentage.
Yeah, the ones it's like it's like when you're in like middle management, like. There are no good managers because the good ones leave to do other shit and the bad ones get fired. So it's just like same with if you were to crash, you would not be flying somebody because you'd be dead. So clearly you never crashed.
Exactly. Yeah. R.I.P. Kobe.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay. You know, depending on what part of the movie we're talking about, I can't tell who is the narrator. Like sometimes it's her. Sometimes it's him. Sometimes it's her dad. Yeah. It shifts way too much because there's so much dialogue when there's not someone in the frame that I can't tell if it's narration or just whatever.
Yeah,
exposition.
It's extremely odd. Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the pilot thing, in order to illuminate how badass he truly is, Steven Seagal can nosedive a 2-passenger plane on a dime and then course correct, even though there was no prior indication that he even knew how to fly a plane in the first place.
No.
Yep. Well, he's the ghost.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the job of being the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Hiding drugs in uncovered artifacts is a wild way to smuggle heroin. There's easier ways to. There's easier ways to do it, in my opinion.
The Equalizer 3 kind of copied that though, because they were smuggling drugs in like wine bottles, weren't they?
I don't know. I watched Equalizer 1, and that's it.
I never watched it. I just read that one thing about it.
Oh.
Yeah, I never saw any of them.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're probably right.
We kind of talked about this in Worst Dialogue, I think it was, but trafficking weed over the Kazakhstan border. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Like,
me too.
Was that an issue? Trafficking weed over the Kazakhstan border? Like, I didn't think that was a punishable issue. Like, I didn't know it was illegal over there.
I'm not sure. More like Kazakhstan. You know what I mean?
See, I thought they cut that scene that we played earlier because he says a very derogatory statement and that you barely hear it when it transitions to Steven Seagal's like inner fantasy. He says raghead.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's why they cut it out. Like they did a test screening, like you can't fucking say that shit, and they were already out of film.
Yeah, but we heard it.
Yeah, I definitely heard it. All right, Bob.
That's Chris.
Bullet hits the car graphic. You guys remember when the bullets hit the back of the Jeep?
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention how absolutely awful that looked.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It was like
forwarding a little
we
bit.
We didn't even clip it. So
it was like the Matrix bullets
Yeah, but not as good.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
not even close.
Precisely.
When Seagal was at that restaurant and those guys all showed up to like threaten him,
Yeah.
he threw the first punch. That wasn't self-defense.
Yes.
But he walked away as if
No, he
nothing
did.
happened. Yeah, he threw the first punch.
Yeah, they were like,
threatened
we're
his
going to
wife.
kill your wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. As stupid as this movie is, as stupid as Steven Seagal is, I really I laughed out loud because I thought it was a nice touch when he beats the shit out of the guy at the laundry and leaves the invoice on top of him. It was like his calling card. He just leaves a freaking the bill or the receipt.
It's not it's not like one red rose or like a guitar pick or
it's a fucking laundry
bill.
invoice. That's my calling card.
Oh, that's awesome.
I spilled some dim sum on myself last week, and I came here to the bang up job.
All right, well, I've got one for you.
Okay.
They show the ghost holding his archaeology partner in his arms after she's shot to death, right? Holding her and mourning, we assume. So we had to pull her out of the car roadside and then mourn her death and shove her back in the truck and continue driving for that to be possible. Driving when she's shot to death. And then he crosses the border. So for him to have her in his arms, they must have pulled over her dead, and he pulled her out and held her in his arms just for the footage. Just so that he can mourn her, and then he pushed her back into the Jeep and drove back to the Kazakhstan border or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. All right, go ahead.
I'm going to clip this for socials if I can find it again. But there was one point when Seagal was talking to the old man whose daughter was his old partner.
Yeah.
And the old man starts talking and Seagal just walks away while the old guy's still talking. I thought that was hilarious. The guy's like,
yes,
let me tell you something wise. And then Seagal just walks away.
He says, I give you permission, to follow through on what, and Seagal just gets up and walks away because all he needed was the permission to get on the task, And
the guy's still talking. He's like, and one more thing.
He is still talking.
Thought that was hysterical.
It's pretty fucked up.
Okay. I'm doing a little alliteration here. Spider monkey barber has bronchial tubes beaten by bedsheet. When he strangles him after he's bouncing off the walls and shit.
Yes,
I know it was an apron.
Understand that. Yeah.
I have something about that. If you don't mind me jumping in.
So I do too. Go ahead.
Yeah. So apparently this is a fact I read in an interview. After seeing Spider-Man in 2002.
The Sam Raimi ones.
Yes. Seagal stalled filming for several days because he refused to shoot the barbershop fight scene until production found someone who could actually crawl on walls, quote, like Spidey.
Which they still didn't do. Yeah. They had to use wires to keep him afloat.
Yeah.
Because that's not possible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so funny.
Jesus Christ.
Like Spidey.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just say, so the guy that can climb on walls and stuff introduces Matrix magic, which is funny because we were just talking about the Matrix, to an otherwise entirely unmagical universe. So I thought that was really fucking weird, but that's just that's my piggyback on that. Why don't we throw it to a clip real quick?
Is this one of the abusers?
No, this is a super quick one called One-Eyed Man.
Yes. My bad.
God, would you look at that? It's so beautiful. Only has one eye.
Well, you know what they say. land of the blind, and one-eyed man is king.
As a consequence of his recent meticulous excavations at the Yangling tombs, Professor Robert Burns has been selected to be the recipient of the prestigious and much coveted Winthrop Award for Excellence in Archaeology. It is now my honor to call to this stage this university's most distinguished academician, Professor Burns.
I'd like to thank my loving wife, Maya, dedicated assistant Yi and her father, my mentor, Professor Liu Zong. Without them, I wouldn't be here today. I look very much forward to my next dig in China. Thank you so much.
China.
China. China.
You head on over to China.
He hit you with a "they say" again. I wonder if you counted how many there would be. How many "they says"?
He's essentially citing a source that he's not credible enough to remember off the top of his head by referring to them as they.
Right.
Yes.
He's like, so a lot of people are saying.
It's like the influencers on. It's like the Instagram influencers were like, I got so many DMs about my skincare routine. I'm like, no one DM'd you. You're just setting using that as a setup so you can talk about it. That's all you're doing.
Right.
That is true. All right, that was mine. Go ahead, Bob.
All right, this is my last one. So in pre-production, there was an actress named Rachel Grant who was hired for a role. And when she met the director and Seagal in a Bulgarian hotel room, the director left the room. And Grant, this is Rachel Grant, claims that Seagal pulled down her top and exposed himself. And she was later released from the job. And she claims it was because she refused to submit to Seagal. And this came up in like later interviews with Seagal, and he like walked out of the interviews. Like he like did not want to deal with it. So it makes me feel icky because apparently when I read that, I read like 2 more accusations against Seagal.
All right.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I'm going to end on this note. He's in Akita, a 7th Dan black belt in Akita, right? Is that the martial art that he's in? Am I saying it right?
Probably.
Keto. So it was during a previous Steven Seagal outing after we recorded the episode. I was like, is that a legitimate martial art? And it brought up a clip from the Joe Rogan Experience. And I know people have mixed reviews about Joe Rogan, mostly people that never listened to a show who hate him vehemently. I'm kind of ambivalent to him because like he's just like a jock.
Same.
Who you shouldn't. He's a jock that has some hard opinions that you shouldn't be taking seriously anyways. But he knows his martial arts. He knows his MMA. He really helped UFC become the brand it was through his commentary and stuff. And there's a great clip of him saying like, no, Steven Seagal is a 7th Dan black belt. He really knows his shit. And like he shows like clips of him like competing or like demonstrating, and he points out like all the moves and like all the different maneuvers, and he knows them by name. And then all that for him to say, I mean, it's really kind of a bullshit form of martial art in the first place, but like he's good at it. Because it's just defense. It's meant to like if someone's running at you with a knife, it's a discipline of blocking. It's not offensive, it's defensive. So like for him to be an action hero front and center, who's only a defensive fighter, makes 0 sense throughout his entire career. And that's my last one.
Except for that fist to fist move.
True. Yeah. He did accurately target that guy's fist and pound it with his own. Yeah. In such a way that hurt his shoulder.
There was lots of sweat in that scene.
Yeah.
A lot of sweat changing hands.
a lot of fist sweat.
Sweat and currency falling all over the place. The Chinese gang members speak to each other in English for whatever reason.
Yeah, they do.
I also wrote that would not be his wife, which Bob, you kind of said already.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal thinks he's cool to everyone from. Oh, okay, well, I kind of already said that. But he uses language that he thinks his black cellmate will respond well to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apocalyptic thunderstorm outside his house, plus a terrible explosion, all within a minute.
Yep.
And I don't mean like a horrifying explosion. I mean like they did a bad job selling the whole house blowing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another movie where the only flashbacks that of the dead spouse are the ones that we've seen in the movie already.
Yes.
He does it a lot.
Yeah, he loves that move. Which one was that? That was Hard to Kill, right?
Yeah, the whole all the way
Where
to the
he's
bank
doing
thing.
that.
The whole
Yeah.
his whole redemption and like retraining.
His
running
dead
from-
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, his wife in Hard to Kill. Same deal. It's him like walking on the street. It's like a scene we saw already in the movie, and then that's his like only memory of her.
Yeah.
I wrote the plane nosedive scene is crazy but hilarious. You already said that, Rob. But,
Yeah.
I said, oh yeah, there's a narrator because I totally forgot. Ghost tying the guy up in rope just to lift him to the second floor was a really odd choice, and I keep referring to him as the Ghost because that's what they want us to like think is like super cool about this movie. But yeah, there's a scene where he just like ties a guy up. Seagal ties a guy up with rope and then like just pulleys him up to the second floor, and the guy like unropes himself. And then he climbs the stairs, and I'm like, "What was the fucking point of that?"
What about when the cop gets tied up with tape and was able to get out like in a second?
Yeah, no, that's definitely
the white guy, the only white guy in the movie, except for Seagal.
Yeah. Yes, right.
He had a very convenient escape. Now that you mentioned it,
the panty pope person.
Yes.
Smart Seagal's spectacles are always funny. When Smart Seagal is out, he's got his glasses on, which is just a trope that should have died in the 60s. But
yeah,
I don't understand the lesbian threesome tattoo tease scene. What's happening there?
I don't understand either.
Why did that happen?
I have no freaking clue.
It's like a good 8 minutes.
It was so long. I was waiting.
Nothing
for more.
happens.
I was excited for more.
Honestly. And I've got two more honorable mention, but this is for most offensive honorable mention.
Mm-hmm.
Seagal break into the agent's hotel room when she's naked and sleeping.
Yes.
Was offensive and funny to me.
Yeah.
But nothing's more outrageous than Seagal climbing up a pipe on the outside of the house.
Yeah.
Which to me is just absolute gold that they think we're going to believe he can do that.
Yeah. His entire career is just reputation management. It's insane.
It is.
Yeah. It's fucking insane.
Oh, okay. That's all I've got. So why don't we throw it to what we're watching?
Sure thing. Where is it? I was debating playing something else. Here.
So
You
we're
are
talking
in charge
about
of
things we
music.
like in some cases.
Looks better than a 10-inch dick, and
that
you
makes
know
it easier. Good to know. I wasn't sure. So when I get in the vehicle, I can just play it whenever the fuck I want.
That's exactly why I send them to you. Abuse it. I want you to play them like 7 times.
Okay, what's your goals?
I have to go to the bathroom.
Got it. Moving forward.
I have to run to the bathroom. But like I said, it's entirely up to you because I don't want you to have like match the video. You should make that an audio only thing.
Okay, fair enough. So when I play this one,
like
Silo, where does the crane fly?
Okay, sounds good.
Hello, where does the crane fly?
All right. Well, back to the segment.
That's amazing. All right. Should I go or?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been watching, my wife and I, Chernobyl.
I gotta watch that.
HBO Max.
That's the one about
our
Chernobyl,
second playthrough. Like the nuclear power plant.
Yeah, that's Chernobyl.
Right? Yeah, that one. Yeah, in Russia. Yeah. There is a terrible explosion of the core of this Russian nuclear power plant. And if you don't know anything about it, just do yourself a favor and watch this dramatized version of it. I will say it is not entirely factual. It is embellished for the sake of cinema, and that is fine because the grassroots of the entire thing is bad enough that it doesn't matter how much they embellish because nearly half of the world died to them. And they fixed it, and I applaud their bravery for doing so. But it is the most monumental accident in the history of Earth. And if you don't know anything about it, do yourself a favor and watch HBO Max Chernobyl. I also have, thanks to you, Rob, explore on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of more true crime type shit on YouTube.
Oh, like Explore with Us in the JCS?
Yes, exactly. But I will say, I've also been watching Jersey Shore again. I refused for 11 years to watch it, or 12 years or something. Flat refused. I was like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to watch the show. It is endlessly entertaining. It is everything that Jerry Springer and the real world combined, if they had a baby, could have done for you. It is... It is unbelievably entertaining, at least for your first watch. Your third or fourth watch, which I think I'm on to 3 or 4, entertaining, not as entertaining. Just saying, okay, go ahead, Bob. Go for it.
Yeah, you have not sold me on the Jersey Shore. I'm not going to watch it.
Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. But it's amazing. You'll feel like a piece of shit, but it's like McDonald's, it's like the greasiest TV show you could ever watch. But it tastes great going down, But do your thing, Bob. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I've been on a vintage kick, and there's a movie that was filmed in Pittsburgh. It was made by George Romero, who also did the first zombie movie, the Night of the Living Dead, and Dawn of the Dead. Mm-hmm. He made one called Monkey Shines in 1988.
Okay.
And it was about a helper monkey who helps a quadriplegic get through his early stages of becoming a quadriplegic, and it has a young Stanley Tucci in it. Briefly, he's not in it very long. He's a surgeon, and he messes up the operation. But it was filmed in Pittsburgh, and it was a horror movie without much gore, but still scary enough and entertaining enough. And honestly, the monkey effects, they show the monkey a lot, and they show monkey hands doing things that aren't obviously the monkey, but it was pretty convincing. I'll have to say.
Right.
Worth a watch, and it's on Tubi, I think. I think it was on Tubi.
Interesting.
And then, 1977, another movie came out. Now, do you know what a gigantic movie came out in 1977?
Jaws 2.
Star Wars.
Okay.
Star Wars.
Yes. Okay, yeah.
Okay. So, I saw that in the 80s when I was a kid. But this movie came out. It's called Sorcerer. And it was directed by William Friedkin. I don't know if you guys recognize the name William Friedkin.
No.
He directed The French Connection. He directed
Okay.
The Exorcist. And then a few years after The Exorcist, he directed Sorcerer. And it's a bad title for a movie. It has to do with it's basically, it has nothing to do with sorcery at all. It's about these kind of unfortunate, despicable characters who end up in a jungle type atmosphere, running from the law, and they have to transport this TNT across these bumpy roads and these trucks and these rope bridges. It is really well done. I really liked it. Well directed. You feel the monsoon jungle rains and mud and danger at the same time they do. I thought it was really well done. And I don't think it's streaming anywhere. I think I ended up downloading it somewhere. But it was good. I liked it better than Monkey Shines.
Why is it called Sorcerer?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You really you can't make any connection?
I can't. I mean,
weird.
I really can't tell why it's called Sorcerer. I didn't read into it
culture
anymore.
Then
I guess maybe it was because it was such a dangerous task, and they had to be. I don't know. I'm making things up as I talk.
That's not it.
I don't know why it's called Sorcerer, but it was very well done.
Right.
And I'm glad I watched it. And it was a little long, but not as long as like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which was better. Anyway,
right.
Cool.
That's it.
I might check that out if I see it.
All right. Oh, Chris, you mentioned Jersey Shore. I have not seen Jersey Shore, but there was a YouTube series that I think predates it called Guido Beach. So check out Guido Beach. I think it might be the indirect inspiration for Jersey Shore, but don't quote me on that.
It sounds like it. If that came out first.
It may have. I'm thinking like 2007, 2008, one of my bandmates showed me, and we like watched all of them. So I watched on Tubi The Pig Farm, which is the Robert Willie Picton story. Not as exhaustive as
he was fucked up, dude.
Yeah, he confessed to 49 murders.
Killed like 48 women. Yeah,
and he was convicted. He was convicted of second-degree murder for only 6 of them. But basically, the last podcast on the left explains he lived on a pig farm. He went to Vancouver, picked up drifters that like needed drugs. He housed them, and then he would gut them like pigs, and he would run them through the rendering plant. And like people living in the area probably used soap that was made of their bodies. This documentary
or ate their meat.
That too. This documentary
He literally distributed their meat.
Yeah,
Canada had like the area in Canada had to put out a health emergency announcement. Yeah.
So this documentary feels a little incomplete. It's only like 90 minutes or a little shorter than that, but it aims to point its focus on the botched police work. So you're hearing from like the main homicide detective who's like, I know it's this guy. I've wanted to get a warrant for like 10 years. They're all saying my evidence is too circumstantial. I can't get a warrant. And like, he was just going through like all the technicalities he had to jump through to like actually get to search his premises basically. So it's kind of boring, but like if you listen to like other supplementary material about Robert Picton, you would enjoy it. If you went into it just watching it, you'd probably be like, what the fuck is this? Because it does not go into the depths of his crimes at all.
I love when Henry is like, I love when Henry's like, and that's my final truth, because that was the name of his book. Robert Picton's book was The Final Truth or whatever, and Henry
that's the final truth.
Like he's just such a good voice actor. Anyway,
and then I also watched a Nicolas Cage movie also on Tubi called Willy's Wonderland. Have you guys seen this?
No.
So
not yet.
It's been criticized
like Chuck E. Cheese.
It's been criticized for ripping off Five Nights at Freddy's, but critically is considered a better movie because the Five Nights at Freddy's has a difficulty of like there's so much lore in the video games it was really hard to adapt into a film. So it's a very similar premise. Nicolas Cage is stuck inside of like a Chuck E. Cheese type of place, and all the animatronic mascots are possessed by demons, and he has to kill them. And he's like, all he does is drink like this energy drink called Punch Pop and play pinball to like power up, I guess. And then he beats them to death with like mops and like brooms and plungers. What makes it such a great movie though is it's a silent role for Nicolas Cage. He doesn't speak a single word of dialogue. He's just beating the fucking shit out of these mascots. It's amazing. It's short. It's sweet. I want to say that I didn't spoil the movie, but that's literally the entire movie. It's just Nicolas Cage trapped in a family-themed restaurant, beating the shit out of possessed robots.
Animatronics.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. And then the last thing I watched was I rewatched 1984, the 1984 version, not the 1956 version, because every election year, everybody's like, we're living in 1984. I'm like, yeah, but you have an Alexa and a Google Home device, and that's literally the telescreens that George Orwell has been warning us about for like a century. So maybe you should, consider the fucking source. And then that makes me want to watch it because it's a really good movie. So
maybe stop talking to your smart fridge and telling it to order your groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tracking all your habits. Yeah. That's it. That's all I watched.
All right, let's throw it to bad credit names.
You get it.
I'm a dancer.
You're a dancer. Then Henry here is the fucking Virgin Mary.
I got bigger tits than the fucking Virgin Mary, and I got a bigger mouth, too.
Then Henry here is the fucking Virgin Mary.
God damn it. You're the only one who could get my tits popping right.
Then Henry Mary.
Bad credit names.
Right.
Annie.
Annie?
Okay.
Yeah, Annie.
Like a little
Philip
orphan?
Philippoff.
Ew.
Yeah, just Annie. Philip Philippoff. You might notice a theme here. Dimov.
Oh yeah, it's like the first, like James Jamerson, Rob Robertson type of deal.
Yeah. Ivan Ivanova.
Okay.
Dimitar Dimitrov.
Oh.
Okay, and finally, this is the winner for me. This is a song in the movie. Maybe Steven Seagal wrote it. It's called Vindaloo Mix. But right next to Vindaloo Mix, in parentheses, it's called Curry in a Hurry.
Curry in a hurry?
Yeah. Not lying, it says that in the fucking credits. I thought that was amazing. All right, let's throw it to the offensive minigame.
Sure.
Must be weird not having anybody come on you.
I'm gonna miss this bumper.
It's the offensive minigame.
Yeah, it is dope.
Yeah, Bob, you always undersell your bumpers, but like I feel like by the time we get to like episode 9 or 10, yours have the most staying power. Like by and it's not even close.
I'm telling you, I'm
You're
keeping the music because it's all royalty free. I'm keeping the music.
Yeah, do it.
It's like the most re-listenable.
Yeah.
Except for, of course, the first bumper of the day, which is Bob Explains.
Which is going away.
Yeah.
Literally, the movies we're doing this season are so bottom of the barrel that's the only copyright claim I get when I load this shit to YouTube is between the Buried and Me. So it's the end of the section.
All right, here we go. Offensive minigame. Lazy Luger leading.
Okay.
From Plan 9 from Outer Space. Or Fuzzy Tit-Scope.
Fuzzy Tit-Scope. Like, if you're going to show tits, commit. Like, I'm sorry.
Agreed.
Like, if you're going to
commit.
See, it's the offense is twofold. You're objectifying women, but then you're backpedaling from your initial intent to objectify.
He's so right. He's
Plus,
so right.
like, that would have, like, I don't know, there were, like, at least visible boobs. This movie might actually have redeemed itself just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
There's the back on their t-shirt. Commit to the tit.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Aliens insulting Americans or monks versus mullet.
I'll go with aliens insulting just to keep it interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, monk versus mullet wasn't that offensive. It was just funny.
I mean, it's funny, but they did destroy her memory in the process.
Yeah. Who gives a shit?
But I'll go aliens insulting Americans just so we can go to the bonus round, which we hardly ever do. Leveling local business.
Yep.
Or sexist saucer scumbags.
Oh man, that's a tough one because sexism is bad.
Yeah.
But local businesses always end up as a tropey type thing. I don't know.
This is one of those things where I'd say actions speak louder than words, and sexism is an egregious thing to participate in, but so is destroying someone's entire life by destroying their livelihood by proxy.
So are we going leveling local business?
Chris tiebreak?
Yeah, I'm going with leveling local business.
And Bob, you're going sexist saucer scumbag?
I think so. I think it's your tiebreak.
I would say that one person's life is ruined by the leveling of a local business, but all alien women suffer from the sexist.
Oh, you're taking the systemic angle and make me look like an asshole? Fuck you. I like it. I like it.
So I will go with Plan 9 as the more offensive movie. Let's throw it to the movie comparison.
Yeah, okay, fuck you.
You know, what is it that you think you do? You fuck them without fucking them. That's what you do. I saw you. Man, everybody got AIDS and shit. Well, it ain't right. It ain't right. Bitch, I'm telling you the truth.
And so are we with our movie comparison. Hooray.
-12 and not worst for Plan 9 from Outer Space. Somehow. Out for a Kill, though. -46.6 and worse, so that one wins. Out for a Kill also wins with a team 5-star. Plan 9. Rob, you were killing it there for your pitches for a while.
Yeah.
You had a 4.5, but our team 5 wins, obviously.
Yes.
But Plan 9 is more offensive. What has worse dialogue, Plan 9 or Out for a Kill?
Plan 9.
Out for a Kill is so bad with dialogue.
It is, but Plan 9 is Plan 9.
Plan 9 is worse acting, in my opinion. Oh, shit. All right, I'll go Plan 9. It is bad.
It is. Ed Wood or uncoherent script with too many characters?
I'm going to go with the latter. I want to say Out for a Kill.
Out for a Kill is worst production, 100%.
Because Ed Wood was kind of became known for that shit. So like, there's a charm to it.
He made a story out of nothing, and it was more coherent than this one.
Yeah,
that is true. Okay, so I agree. Acting, I'm gonna go Plan 9.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, same.
We don't have a demerit section for Out for a Kill, but Cockpit is Plan 9's demerit.
Fuck, he's good. Is my demerit?
Yeah, fuck, he's good.
Yeah,
fuck, he's
I
good
think
syndrome.
that has to be.
Yeah.
What wins, Cockpit or fuck, he's good?
Cockpit was really bad.
Cockpit wins.
The Cockpit was so bad. I think it wins.
Yeah.
Which means that Plan 9 wins a 4-3. It literally was down to the demerit section.
Okay.
Didn't want to say that out loud, but the Cockpit means that Plan 9 is the worst movie of the season. Go figure. Season 97 ends with Plan 9 from Outer Space as its champion. Next week, we are doing a good movie. And then the week following, you can look forward to some Plan 9 bumpers to start season 98 or 134 or whatever. More importantly, next week, we're watching The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is a favorite of Bob Hassick and Chris Achman, and it will soon be a favorite of Robert Scucci.
I've never seen
doesn't
it.
know it yet.
Yeah, surprisingly, I've never seen it.
It is
based on a Stephen King short story.
Okay. I'm down.
Yeah. It's amazing. You're going to love it.
It's so much fun. It's just fun. It's fun from start to finish.
Okay.
You want a bad guy rundown? This is the way to do it with The Running Man. They did it the wrong way with Out for a Kill. They do it the right way with.
You could say Out for a Kill did a bad guy wrong down.
You could. Maybe you should.
Yeah.
But wait for next week, Rob. You're going to be blown away.
Cool.
We think it's a good movie. You're within your bounds to argue with us by emailing us and telling us what idiots we are. I hope you do. John Muskowski, I'm talking to you. Email us. I love that you're still listening. I love that we have hundreds of listeners at this point. I love all of you listening. Rob, why don't you plug us and then send it to Bob for his last word?
Yeah, but first.
Silo, where does the crane fly?
Okay. You can find us at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. We are on all the big streaming platforms, Spotify, Google Play, Apple, all that good stuff. Pocket Casts, blah, 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 blah. You can find us on YouTube at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. Aside from last week and maybe one other throughout our entire run, we have a video counterpart to these episodes that is in high def, color, smell-o-vision, and all that good stuff. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We do polls. Bob posts trailers. I'm going to start posting short snippets from our show to engage you guys a little more. I've been very restrictive with my social media use because I tend to get myself in trouble, but I'm trying to exercise some self-control and for the better and good of the podcast. So, Chris and Bob, keep me in check because I do like going off in the comments. So I'm probably just going to be posting a ghosting,
we'll do our best.
and then Chris and Bob will represent me on the PR side of things.
Posting and ghosting.
Post
Bob,
and ghost.
What's your
Post and
last word,
Seagal
Bob?
in this movie.
Yeah, Post and Seagal ghost. Bob, what are your last words?
Oh, it's one thing in 2 words. Wife's life.
Wife's life. The life of my wife.
The life of my wife.
All right. Is that it? Did we get through this? We survived?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening.
Somehow.
The Running Man with a good bad guy rundown opposed to the bad guy wrong down found in Out for a Kill. And that concludes this episode. I'm rambling. See ya. Bye. Watching the video screencaster now, making sure it finalizes.
Please.
Suspense.
All right, I'm hitting stop now so it saves. Bye, Jelly Scoo.
Bye, Jelly Scoo.